Hi, Meeps. I'm Rigaroga, and you're you. And we're going to check out, we're actually checking out two things today. We're checking out Tunnel Goons, but we're checking out Tunnel Goons via Shroom Goons. So let me explain. Tunnel Goons is a one page game RPG game system created by Treme over at Highland Paranormal Society, and you can see it's pretty simple game structure. There's a referee, but I'm going to be doing it solo, so it's me. The typical describe the world, describe your actions, and try to do that. When you try to do a thing, you do an action roll, and success is determined by 2d6, and you add points relative to your abilities and things like that, and traits and stuff like that. And you're rolling against a DS, a difficulty score. And the difficulty score is determined by how difficult an action is. For example, player character fights a robot mantis with a DS of 10, and the player rolls 2d6 and adds 2 for their brute score, 1 for their sword, and 1 for their shield, and the total is 12. And the difference between 12 and 10 is 2. So the creature, that robo mantis, takes 2 damage. Non-players' DS is also their health points. So as Robo Mantis takes difficulty or damage, their difficulty goes down, and so they would go down to 8. And then same with the player, they lose health based on those interactions. You also get inventory scores, how many things you can carry, and death is at 0 skill. And you can advance at the end of each game session. And healing are regained by and healing is regained by spending night in a safe spot. In Tunnel Goons, canonically, there's Brute, Skulker, and Erudite are the 3 scores. But we're going to be actually playing a Shroom Goons, which is a take on Tunnel Goons that was part of the Goon Jam 2019. And playing a Myconid has always been a thing. It's something that you just can't get away from. Playing a Myconid has been a fantasy ever since A4 with the really cool illustrations and stuff. Anyhow, so Shroom Goons, a spore core fantasy trip for weird people, and where are the credits, actually? The credits are way at the bottom. So credits, it's written by R.E. Davis, and illustrations by SkullFungus, based on Tunnel Goons. So the way you play Shroom Goon is very similar. Action rolls, difficulty scores, easy is 8, moderate 10, difficult is 12. The other addition to Tunnel Goons is cluster siblings. So Shroom Goons are born in a cluster of siblings, kind of like clones in Paranoia, where when they share memories and experiences, and when a Shroom Goon dies, the player can simply rename their character and reduce them to half their levels, and is now playing as the sibling. So basically you get your clone. And there's character creation. Do I really want to... Well, I was going to do character creation at a different point. Let's actually, I guess, let's go ahead and go into character creation. Might as well. Um, so I kind of put together some of my little pieces. Um, I've got a little short black body, blue cap, white body, red cap is a little bit taller, and then really tall, I've got a white body and a purple cap. And those are going to be my three characters. So let's go ahead and roll those guys. I've got three character sheets. So name your character. Oh, hello. I hate that when that happens. Okay, so we're going to name our character. So we got purple, and we got blue, and we got red. And our health is 10. And inventory is 8. Let's see. 1d6 cluster siblings. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's roll 1d6. So purple has 6 siblings. Oh, wow. Blue only has 1. And red has 4. Okay, so now we're going to distribute 3 points between trauma, the meat of a fungus, good for smacking foes or feats of strength. Spore, for tests of aiming and reacting to danger. And then cap, good for awareness, knowledge, and social interaction. So I think purple is our cap. So we'll do 2 cap. Blue is going to be our quick and crazy little guy. So that's going to be 2 spore. And then we'll do red is 2 trauma. And then so trauma and 1 spore for red. Spore and 1 trauma. And then spore, trauma, cap. Yeah, that doesn't work the way I wanted to do it. So we'll do 1 trauma, and then we'll do 1 cap. I wanted to split them off. Okay, so here's what we got. So far, so red has 2 trauma, 1 spore, no cap. Purple has 1 trauma and 2 cap. And then blue has 2 spore and 1 cap. And then we'll roll for 1 trait. Okay, so let's go back. So we're going to roll for 1 trait. Oops, wrong one. There we go. So we're going to go to the following thing, and we're going to roll 1d6 and then 2d6. Okay, so 1d6 is red. So 5, a 6, and a 3. So 5 is odd. 6 is even. And 3. So we've got puffball. So Shroom's body can puff up into a light and floaty balloon-like ball. Doing so allows it to drift on the wind or on the surface of water, but it receives no benefit from defense modifiers like armor or traits when puffed. Okay, so let's go ahead and purple. So odd even 5. Odd, even 5. Did I do that right last time? Odd, even 5. Animal companion. So we need to do another d6. Shroom has befriended a stray animal. A fungal critter. Okay, interesting. And then so red. Let's do red. What does red get? Odd, even 2. Odd, even 2. Which butter body? Which butter body? The shroom has a gelatinous to jelly-like physique, allowing it to slip through narrow spaces or out of restraints easily. And that's red. Okay, and then what do we got for choose 3 starting items? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So there's 15. I don't know how to pick. I don't know how to pick. Okay, so let's see. What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 14. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Tweezers. Okay, so red has tweezers. And 14. Sewing needle sword. Nice. And 15 is a 1d6 beer can tabs. 5 beer can tabs. Okay, so that's red. Okay, so what does purple have? 4 and 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Broom bristles bound with lace. And what else? Let's see. 11, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. A squirrel tail. And 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1d6 matchsticks. Oh, interesting. 2 matchsticks. Okay, so that's purple. So what does blue have? 14. Nail filer. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Matchbox chest. 15. 1d6 ball bearings. 4 ball bearings. Okay, so what we got here is I have this little setup. You can't really see it too well, but so I've got a little card holder, and I've got the cards set up for the 3 characters so that I can reference those. And let's see what's next. Okay, so I think what happens is that our 3 little characters are 3 mushrooms. Have been friends in this community for a while, and I think that what happens is maybe we kind of join them in the middle of their story, and one night the elder of the let's see, the elder of the Shroom village. I'm looking for something specific here. Here we go. There's a night where they're huddled around a campfire, and I don't know if you can see that actually. Maybe it's better if I show it this way. They're huddled around a campfire, and they're telling stories of mushroom life, of shroom life, and the elder pulls out the secret sacred book of the mushrooms, and flips through and starts to tell a story about the awful evil schmorks, and begins with sort of, everybody knows that we live in this sort of idyllic world, this wonderful place, the fluorescent Neverglades, where we that is filled with surreal, brightly colored swamps and marshlands that are lit by the never moon, and it looks like a world that you and me as humans might know from blacklight posters, and the shrooms, they the elder says, and we live in community, in a settlement and raised glades and mossy trees overlooking spawning patches, and we're pastoral, and we build our farms, and we herd bugs and tame rodents and other fungus-based animals such as shroom steeds. But of course, the Neverglades have other inhabitants. The froglorps, the banthers, the crocodiles, and the dreaded smorks. The smorks, the species of small... Well, I mean, to us they're not small, but the species of bluish, pig-faced imps, and they come in all kinds of varieties, these smorks, and they wear costumes, and they're bluish, and they're chaotic, and they're clumsy, and they're always dreadful despite their being jolly, and they sing cheerful murder songs while raiding shroom villages, and you can always spot their leader by his red cap. And although actually Papa Smurf doesn't have a red cap here, well, it's got a red band, but anyhow, I mean Smork, Papa Smork, and you don't have to know anything else about these Smorks to know that they're evil, than to realize that they live in villages made of hollowed out shroom corpses. No, God, it's disgusting. Look at that. They live in the hollowed out bodies of dead mushrooms. Oh, Oh, it's awful. How could they possibly be so disgusting? Ugh. Ugh. Ew. Yuck. Gross. Okay. And these smorks, they're jolly, and but it'd be suicide to try and attack them by even veteran goons. They're singing their jolly murder songs and raiding shroom villages and hollowing out bodies to live in them. Um, and and even the most veteran shroom knows not to take on a smork um, all by itself, and so that's why it's important that we have allies and in our Neverglades and in neighboring kingdoms like Suburbia, where all kinds of foreign beasts and plants and grasses and large creatures in machines whirling around, and blades and claws and all sorts of nastinesses. But sometimes it's important to travel to the suburbia in order to get their, bits and bobs and things that have been machined, and the College of Wizards, they study these strange creatures. Um, but they have to be careful because shrooms these giants will eat shrooms, um, and there are possible allies in suburbia as well, and raccoons and foxes and mice and coyotes and all sorts of things that might help with finding goods and weapons and supplies. And then the opposite side um, of the Neverglades is the Kingdom of Carcadia, filled with fairies and upright animals and gnomes and other mystical beings, and it's a slightly more friendly to shroom kind, uh, uh, but strangely enough, the two Suburbia and Carcadia, neither of them have really heard about each other, and they don't trade directly. So, Shrooms actually have a trade route that goes through the Neverglades that travels from one to the other. Oh, excuse me. And Carcadia is magical to visit, um, and there may be other strange lands. The elder says connected to the Neverglades that we don't even know about, and maybe one might discover that over time. Um, but what so I think that kind of sets up. So that tells the story and scares the little mushrooms with tales of the smorks living in hollowed out corpses. And I think that what happens is that the the little mushrooms go to sleep with nightmares of smorks dancing in their heads, um, and they wake up bright in the morning, red and purple and blue. Wake up to a bright, well, I guess probably mainly nighttime, right? So a lit up fluorescent morning, and I think that they start to head out as they do. Maybe they're a little bit young still, and so they don't necessarily have particular exact jobs to do. So they start to wander about, and so yeah, maybe they decide to wander a bit. How should I? Yeah, let's represent them with this. So we'll have the three shrooms. No, let's just do it. I mean, it's almost actual size, right? So I think that they're off gallivanting through through their environment, and they go down to the river. Hi, Ranka, Rush, you want to come up? Hi, come visit. As I'm telling a story of the Shrooms and the Smorks. And so I think that they travel down to the river and they find maybe a shrew that has been eating some nuts and things, and they decide to chase the shrew off in order to in order to collect the nuts. And so they decide that they're gonna sneak up on. So are they gonna sneak up? There isn't really a stealthy thing. Blue is going to take a ball bearing and throw it at the shrew. So we're going to have a difficulty of 10. So let's give a difficulty of 10. And we're going to do, so throwing a ball bearing. So we're going to roll 2d6, and we're going to add 2 for spore, and then 1 for the ball bearing. So we're going to add 3 to this roll. So that's 9. That was 1 less than was necessary. So what that means is that Blue took 1 damage. So I think what happens is that the ball bearing, Blue throws the ball bearing and it bounces off of or the shrew turns just in time to thwack it back, and it flies at Blue and knocks Blue for 1 point of damage. Okay, and then I think so Purple is going to, I think Purple is going to ride in on the fungal critter, which is one of the, where is it? So you can actually see it on the cover, right? This is whatever that one thing is riding, the mushroom mount, the mushroom horse, and is riding, and then has the squirrel tail, and is going to use the squirrel tail and riding in the mount to look like a big squirrel, and is going to use a cap, the social interaction, to sort of bluff that it's a squirrel attacking, to try and scare off the shrew. So riding in, so let's we're gonna get 2 plus 1, and so plus 4. So that's 11 plus 4, and that is going to give the shrew a little bit of a heart attack. So let's see, so that's 5. So they're down to 5 now. And so I think what happens next is Red runs up. Sorry, that was Purple that was riding up with the companion. I had the wrong one. So Red is going to run up now with the sewing needle sword. And is going to physically attack. And so that's going to be trauma for 2 plus the sword for 3. Wow. So that was only 5 plus 3. So that takes the shrew down to 2. And now let's see what happens with... Okay, so this is a thing that I'm not sure of yet. Let me see. What happens when... Yeah, so both of the examples in Tunnel Goons and in Shroom Goons uh, don't give a good example of what happens if the what happens if the shrew attacks. Um, they have to roll the health is their difficulty score, so they have to roll above the difficulty score. But do they add anything? Because it seems like somehow that health score should add into that somehow. But so the shrew rolls a 7 attacking red, and that's way under the difficulty score of red. So the shrew would take 3 damage, and that actually kills it, right? So is that how that works? I'm gonna go with that. It's actually not perfectly clear to me how the enemy combat works, but I'm assuming that the health of the character is their difficulty score. And maybe if they had like a shield or something like that, or maybe the player is the only one that rolls. So maybe the shrew, maybe combat is instantaneous and happens at the same time. So then it goes back to blue, and blue um, throws another ball bearing. So we're gonna do +3. So that's 10 plus 3, and it's way over the difficulty. So then that would take the shrew down to 0. I think maybe that's actually how it is. So the shrew the enemies actually end up attacking during the attack round, when the players act, and so there's no discrete enemy action. That's an interesting mechanic now that I think about it. Okay, so the shrew is now dead. Blue has taken 1 damage, but they are gonna grab some of the nuts, and maybe they'll have a little Resh, stop that. Stop. Come on up. Come on, up. Stop making noise. I'm recording. So I think after fighting off the shrew, they have a little lunch, and I'm gonna go ahead and say that these nuts are healing. I'm gonna give blue 1 point back. And so they collect some nuts, and so let's roll 3 dice and see how many nuts they get. 1, 6, and 3. So red gets 1 nut. Purple gets 6 nuts. Purple's kind of an overachiever, man. That's 6 nuts. And 3 nuts. And I think purple is kind of like, oh man, I'm not the strong one here. I've got so many nuts. We should go back and drop those off. So they turn around, and they go to head back to so they go to head back to their camp, right? And as they turn around and start heading back, their way is blocked by a bee. So this is the bee, black, clear, and a yellow. And so we're going to fight a bee, and the bee's difficulty is going to be up one. It's going to be 12. So we're going to try and fight off this bee, and get it out of the trail so that we can get by them. So let's have Red go. Red is going to jump up and attack with strength and a sewing needle sword. So we're going to do 2d6. 2d6 plus 3. Oh, that hurt. So 4. So Red takes 4. Ouch, that hurt. So Red totally gets stung. And so Purple is going to run up and is going to use the squirrel tail thing. I mean, Purple is going to... I don't know what I said. Is going to ride in with matchsticks. Is going to use a matchstick, light it off. So we're going to only have one matchstick left. And use the fire to try and scare the bee away, and the smoke to kind of using knowledge, using like the smoke of the fire, like how a beekeeper would. So we're going to add 2 cap and 1 matchstick. So 3. Oh man. So that's wow. Well, so Purple took 4 too. And okay. Yeah, so I guess we're gonna do a ranged attack with the ball bearing. I'm not assuming I went back and picked up that extra ball bearing. So we're gonna add 3. 5. Wow, they all took 4. That's really weird, isn't it? Maybe I'm not adding right. Okay, so that's not working so great. Let's see. Oh, mail's here. So I think, yeah, let's use a beer can tab as like a shield. And then we're going to use tweezers as like a trident and try and squish the bee with that. So we're going to add 2, 4, 5. We're going to add no, 4. Add 4. We're going to try this and add 4. Oh god, that's 1 less than it needed to be. So Red is at 5. That was close. That was close. We almost managed to do it. So Purple is going to keep using the matchstick and is going to light the... He's going to use the matchsticks and light the broom bristles, and sort of ride around really quickly, and make like a little wall of fire with the broom bristles. So we're going to add 2, 3, 4. And that's 12. What happens on a... It's nothing. Well, I don't know what to do about that. I don't really have any red. Oh, here. Let's use these. So let's see. Let's get a bunch of red. And this is going to be like a defensive line. So a defensive line of fire. So it didn't hurt, but it set up that that barrier, and so maybe we can use that barrier. Yeah, so let's just, I guess we'll use the ball bearings and Spore of 2 plus the confusing smoke wall of fire. So we'll add 4. Oh no. It's 8. There's another 4. Blue is down. So the ball bearing, I think, yeah, it bounces back and hits him again. He's really bad at that. Or they are. I guess there's, I don't even know if they have gender, right? Oh, man. So that hurt. That really hurt. So I think red is now going to do that same thing with the tweezers and the beer can tab shield, and try and go. And so that's going to be, and then we've got this fire defensive ring. So we're going to actually try and add 5 to this. And it's exactly 12. Oh man, so it was worth a try, but we didn't actually do any damage that time. We just sort of, fenced around each other. So purple, I guess, is going to ride the fungal critter with the squirrel tail and try and do the spoof thing. So we'll add 4 to this roll, plus the 1 for this confusing thing, the ring of fire. So 7. Yeah, no, I tied. I'm trying to do the math in different ways in my head so that I win, but no, we got 12, so it did nothing. So blue, I think blue is going to eat one of the nuts and try and get a healing point back. And skip that round. I mean, not attack that round. So let's see. So red is going to try that again. I'll add 5. God damn it. So red takes 1. Dances around, manages to get its foot in the flame as it's dancing around, and burns itself for 1. And purple is going to try, I guess, the squirrel tail thing, looking like a squirrel, trying to scare it off of still. So adding 5 is a tie. Oh man, wow. And then blue, I think, is going to eat another nut for 1 point back. Oh, right. No, sorry. God, I'm forgetting which direction my hit points are at. Okay, so back to red. Red is going to try again. Okay, we finally did some damage. Wow. We did 2 damage, so now the difficulty is 10. And purple is going to try again with the squirrel thing. And that actually, that's 6. So now we're down. Oh, now that's pretty good. So We're actually down to 4. And so I think blue is going to run, is going to try and do the add 4. And, you know, it's 7 damage. So it's going to hit that and do enough damage to knock the bee out. So the ball bearing finally whacked the bee. Wow, that was scary. And so I think, you know, being good custodians of the forest, they you know, stomp out this flame that they created, and they head back. They head back to village to share the nuts. But I think they're gonna share the nuts with the village, but keep 1 nut each. So they share 5 nuts with the village. And so I think what happens is that... so we use the matchsticks and we burn the bristles. Did we lose anything else from inventory? Yeah, and we recollect the ball bearings. So I think that because purple brought back nuts, we're going to roll again on the items table. So let's see. 3, 4, 5. A grappling hook and line. And 1 more. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Thimble, cup, or container. Okay, so purple got a grappling hook and line, and a thimble, cup, or container. And so I think what they're going to do is they're going to spend the night in the village after their adventure with the shrew and the bee, and are going to heal up. So I think that that's probably the end of the first adventure for these guys. So I'm going to go ahead and call it. The mushroom friends are going to go back to their village and heal up, and that was fun. I actually had some other stuff that I was going to do, but I think that they had quite an adventure. But I'm kind of excited to see what might happen next. If you've got ideas, you know, let me know what they are, and we'll try this again. Yeah. Yeah. Anyhow, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.